A cold wind blows along the ridge of Silver Peak Mountain as a few woodland creatures scuttle around and graze near a mound of moss and dirt. A low hum increases in volume as the mound itself shudders to life and shuffles upward and moves off, scattering leaves as it moves through the trees. The large ursine head turns towards the moon and shakes, and blinks wide green eyes that flash blue for a second. The eyes watch a group of birds fly past large cooling towers next to a research lab. A black Buick LeSabre parked near a group of scientists are questioned by some figures in suits. They all glance towards a valley that cuts through towards the small town of Pinehurst, where we see a Bedford van careening towards the center of town. We dive into the van as a scruffy, Snake Plissken-looking fellow holds the steering wheel, white-knuckled and sweating. He lurches the van around a corner, and we see a collection of bikes and passengers rumble around in the back. We see
Star Trek it.
Yeah, we see our kids bounce around. So, Milton, Jack, Ruby, Jeremy.
April.
Sorry, Ruby is April.
Okay.
That's becoming a thing, isn't it?
It really is.
It really is. Ruby, April, Ruby. So as the four of you bounce around in the back of the van, you've left the research facility behind where you encountered Watcher, the gentleman driving the truck. You implanted Harmony into the system to find another one of their companions, Solver. Solver had somehow found their way into the programming software and the digital infrastructure of a medical testing facility where pharmaceuticals were being imported into the region and then tested to make sure that they were safe for consumption and distribution. What you discovered was that since Solver's introduction into the system, certain elements of the chemical structure and the synthesis of these pharmaceuticals had been changed for some reason, and that had resulted in a number of the local livestock and animals in Pinehurst falling ill. Most of them managed to be treated at the veterinary center, the Heart Vet Center. Some of them, the issues were too large. But you managed to not only extract Solver onto a large and totally secure floppy disk, you also discovered that Watcher, for some reason, had been trying to find Solver and Harmony, and had encountered you, had unexpectedly encountered you in the facility, and was aggressive to begin with, very standoffish, but was then posed a very existential question, which made Watcher ask a few questions about themselves and lash out. And the encounter had affected a lot of you in certain ways. Milton took the scared condition, and just as Watcher lashed out and launched a desk and equipment towards Jeremy, who tried to distract him with a slingshot, Jack took the initiative and shoulder charged Watcher, which threw him off balance. And the group of you managed to explain, with the assistance of Harmony, that you were, for all intents and purposes, kind of trying to achieve the same goal. At which point, Harmony appears to have interfaced with Watcher's body somehow and let Watcher know that everything is on the level. Watcher then realized that you were all probably in a rather difficult situation, as he may have knocked someone unconscious upstairs on his way down to the room where you were. You had a conversation actually about what to do with the versions of Solver that were still residing in the system. because you have created a copy, and Jeremy's suggestion of deletion of Solvo was met with some resistance from both Harmony and Watcher. Milton, as scared as Milton was, took Watcher's hand and led him out and had a little brief conversation, and learned that when Watcher originally collided with Milton in the alleyway earlier that day, Watcher hadn't intended to hurt anyone, and was glad that Milton was relatively unhurt. When you exited the facility, Watcher was suddenly on high alert and punched a hole in a Bedford van door, herded all of you inside, and started it up, not by using a key, by placing his hand on the dashboard, and took off from the facility just as a very distinct Buick LeSabre pulled into the parking lot behind you. You're currently rattling around in this van, heading towards Pinehurst. Is there somewhere specific you need or want to be, knowing full well that it is well past dinner time and none of you have been home? So as you're rattling through, Watcher turns back and is just like, all right, we're away from the facility. Where are we going? He's like, I can take you back to the lab if you want, but like, do you need to go anywhere?
Maybe, yeah, but maybe not with a whole, I don't know. Oh, my dad's gonna be so
as
mad.
he's driving, he's like, all right, where do you live? I'll drop you off.
Milton will rattle off his address. I'm in so much trouble, you guys. I'm going to be in so much trouble.
You see him, he's like, all right. Starts screaming around. Fortuitously, you're coming through through the northern side of town, and you know that where Milton's house is a couple of blocks away from Jeremy's house. Coming back down this main road, you cruise past Jeremy. You see your house again. The lights are still on. You slide around a corner, this huge van rocking before bumping onto its wheels, and you arrive at Milton's house. Just like as you arrive at Milton's house, there is a point where the door opens, and Milton, your parents like come out, like, because the van is not quiet. The van's like right outside your house, and your parents, both your mum and your dad, come out. Like, your dad comes out onto the porch, and your mum behind. What do they look like, Milton? What do your parents look like?
Well, my father is like tall and lanky. He has a bald head and a little bit of hair sort of around the edges that's unkempt and sort of like he doesn't comb his hair. It's just kind of wild.
Yeah.
What's left of it. He wears glasses, and he has sort of like a not an unsimilar shirt to what I'm wearing, buttoned all the way up and tucked into some Levi jeans, with a big leather belt on it. And he probably has his house shoes on, which are a pair of slippers that are kind of oversized, maybe even like, I wouldn't go as far to say rabbit, but they maybe approximate some sort of a woodland animal. My mom is also wearing jeans that are pulled up a little bit higher than you maybe is comfortable, and has a like a maroon turtleneck on that's real thick at the top. She also has glasses, and she probably has a towel, like a dish towel in her hand, as she's sort of like drying her hands off. And she maybe is like trembling a little bit, as she's probably, of the two, she's likely to be the one that would show her worry a little bit more on and wear it on her sleeve, kind of thing.
Yeah, nice. So the van has pulled up, and they are coming out onto the porch. There's a side door you can open to get out. Are you going to get out, or are you going to wait for them to come to the van?
I'm definitely not going to wait. I'm going to put my hand on the lever of the van and look over at Jeremy.
So Jeremy like grabs the door handle and slams the door open and jumps out first.
Yeah.
Hi, Milton's mom and dad. Look, I'm terribly sorry. This is all my fault. Milton was giving me some help with one of the household bots. He's so much better at this stuff than I am. We got lost on time. I'm so very sorry. This is entirely my fault. Milton is in no way to blame. The garage didn't have any windows in it, and I'm so very sorry. I deeply apologize. I hope that he hasn't ruined dinner for you, but
Nice.
if he has,
make a heart charm roll.
I'm just gonna look over while Jeremy is rattling all this off, and Milton not really being able to keep up with all the details. He looks over at April. What do I say? What do I say when they start asking questions?
Just tell them you were working on a group project and you're really sorry that it took too long.
Project, household robots group project. Okay, I got this. Jack, wish me luck.
So that was one success.
One success. Okay. No, that's fine. So they come out, and Milton, you're right. Your mother is like behind your dad, and your dad kind of strides forward and is looking. It's quite dark, but sees Jeremy jump out, and then Milton, your dad, kind of steps down off the porch and comes out, and sees gets close and sees kids and bikes in a van, and with the dude that's driving. You see him kind of look in the window to see who's driving, and you can see that Watcher just kind of stares down in ahead and doesn't really turn to look.
I'll grab the bike and wheel it out of the van and just sort of like look back at April and Jack and just kind of give them sort of a strained smile, like everything's gonna be okay. And then wheel it out, and as I go past Jeremy, I'm just gonna say, smart thinking, thanks.
Jeremy just gives him a very hidden wink on his way past, as he's turning. It's the eye away from his parents.
Yeah.
And then almost too cheerful, Milton's gonna be like, hey dad, hey mom.
And you see your dad's like, hey Milton, it's pretty late, kiddo.
I'm real sorry. I lost track of the time working on robot projects with groups of people.
Yeah. Okay. Look. Yeah. It's good. I'm glad you're home. That's fine. Why don't you take your bike? You head on inside. Your mom's pretty worried, so
Hey mom.
Maybe make sure she's okay. And you see him. He looks into the van at the rest of you. And he's like, "You kids okay? It's nice. It's good to see you. Hi. Everything all right?"
We're just peachy, Milton's dad.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sure. You see him. He leans into there. He's like, "Thanks for dropping them off, Mr."
Oh, that's Mr. Watcher.
Mr. Watcher? Okay. Hi. Are you gonna be okay getting the rest of these kids home? And Watcher is like, yes. Just
not suspicious at all.
Not at all. And then he turns back to look at the rest of you and each of you kids, and he's like, everything's okay?
Dad, everything's fine.
Yes, he turns back, he's like, oh, okay, Milton, all right. Okay, well, you kids get home safe, okay?
Bye, guys. Yeah? We'll get back to that project later, right?
Excellent. Yeah.
Thanks for your help, buddy.
And Milton's dad comes over to you, Jeremy, and he kind of clandestinely says to you, he's like, hey, is everything okay? Do you kids do you want to come in and call your parents from here? We can, we can make you some food, make it everything's okay.
I appreciate it, sir, but Mr. Watcher is a friend of my father's. They work together, and he was just he happened to be using the Workman today. I appreciate the thought, sir, but we're totally fine. And again,
right.
I'm very sorry that we got Milton back so late. That's entirely my fault. I am sorry.
Right. Well, look, he's home now. He's home now. But yeah, you kids make sure you get home safe. And yeah, buckle up. Like that back door doesn't look too safe. Is that broken? As like he's like,
It's a work vehicle, sir. It's fine. These things happen. We're taking it to the shop next week.
You see him? He's like, okay, right, yeah. Kind of more like he's just super more confused now than anything. But he's like, all right, okay, all right. And you see me kind of like, does that like shirt and he's like, hey, all right, okay, and like heads back to the porch. And as the van kind of pulls away, like he stays on the porch and like watches it. Milton, you get inside, and like your mum is just like almost like whacks you with the dishcloth. She's just like, what time do you call this, mister? Huh?
I run up to her and just give her the most bear hug that I can manage. Just give her a big hug, like, and just
you like hug her so much, and she's like, oh, don't think you can just hug your way out of this, Mr. Man.
I'm sorry, Mom.
No.
I'm really sorry. He just squeezes tighter, like, and it's odd that he would cling that long. It's been a while since he's kind of moved out of that sort of clingy stage that he went through, but he just kind of holds on to his mom. Like, he's so happy to see her and to be home and safe.
And she suddenly, her tone changes with the length of your hug. And she kind of like disentangles herself from you and crouches down and looks at you, and she's like, oh, are you okay? Did something happen? Honey, you're shaking. What's going on?
It was a weird day, Mom. Yeah, a lot of things happened today. But I'm safe, and I have good friends, and I missed you. I missed you and Dad real bad, but I'm home now.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Hey, it's all right. She looks at you. She's like, did you scuff your elbow? What happened?
Yeah, I fell. I got knocked down. It's okay. My bike is fine, so I might have to do some tuning on it, but I think everything's okay. And he kind of just does a little movement to like test out his arms and his legs, and kind of in a little silly Milton sort of way.
Yeah, awesome. Nice. Yeah, you see her, she's like, well, okay, all right. It's like, and she kind of like wraps you up and gives you one of those like mum hugs. It just smothers you.
Feels so good.
Yeah. And she's like, well, all right. Well, it's food's on the table. We're just gonna eat. So let's all just have some food. Just sit down on the table. And as you're walking towards the dining room, you pass the lounge and you can see Tiffany sitting on the couch. And like as you walk past, she like looks at you and she's like, "We thought you were dead." And your mother is like, "Tiffany," and she's like, "Oh,
I'm still kicking, Tiff. Good to see you too."
She walks past, she's like, all right, fine. And as she walks past, she kind of like ruffles your hair a little bit and heads into the dining room.
Milton is famished as he sits down at the table and just starts like dolloping food onto his plate.
The kind of family that like sits and like says grace or like says what they're grateful for.
Yeah. And he skips grace and he goes right to it.
Yeah, it's just And your parents sit down and like at one point your mother is like, "Well, are we gonna?" Oh, you see your dad is sitting there like, "Milton, you know what? Okay, all right, we'll talk about this in the morning. Okay? You look hungry."
It's been a long day, Dad.
Yeah. But hey, what have we told you about getting into vans with strangers?
Oh, I wasn't with strangers. I was with my friends. I was with April and I was with Jack, and I was with Jeremy and Mr. Watcher.
Yeah, and this Mr. Watcher, huh?
Yeah, he seems nice.
Where did you meet this Mr. Watcher? Is he at school or?
I met Mr. Watcher. It was, yeah, I met him. Yep, at school. I met him at school, and he's a really safe driver.
You see, like, yeah, your dad's doing that thing where he's like one elbow on the table, like, go on.
And he was kind enough to give us a ride home because we knew we were late, and I would have been a lot later if we would have had to bike all the way.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good. Yeah.
How was your day, Dad?
You see him? He's like staring right through you through his glasses.
No,
He's done that thing where, you know, like he's done the whole like.
Oh my God. All right. This is one of those moments for Milton where he is going to use his pride. And his pride, as we know, is when the shit hits the fan, I don't back down. And he feels like the walls are closing in on him right now. You can kind of see that parallax as he looks at his dad and the walls are coming in. He can hear his sister snickering off to the side. And, you know, like she knows he's full of shit. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Look, Dad, sometimes you just have to, you know, sometimes you have to be brave and you have to do the right thing. And I can't tell you everything, but I'm going to level with you, Dad. And this is very unlike Milton. I'm going to level with you. He's like picking up on movies that he's watched. My friends and I were very brave tonight, and we did the right thing. And I just need you to trust me. Okay. I need you to, Tiffany, stop it. You just need to trust me, Dad. Okay.
Also, I will point out, would anyone else, any of the other players care to roleplay as either Tiffany or Milton's mum, like, or even Milton's dad if you want. Like, this is
I
one of
would
those
love
things.
to be Tiffany.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. So yeah, Milton's like, you know, quit it, Tiffany.
Tiff.
And yeah,
what?
and Milton's dad's just like, all right,
Why is
Tiffany, all right, chill out, okay? Just cool. Keep it cool. All right, that's what you kids say, right?
Tiffany, you always keep it cool.
Sure, Dad.
Always keeping it cool over there, Tiff. Right? And you're the best big sister a guy could ever ask for.
What? Milton is laying it on thick. I love it.
And right? And how was your day today, Tiff? Maybe we can talk about your day.
My day was fine, Milton. I was mostly worried about you.
Aw, that's really sweet. That's the sweetest thing that you've ever said to me in recent memory. Hey, I feel like we're really bonding here. Mom, can you feel the bonding happening here at the family dinner table?
Does anyone want to roleplay as the mum? I could. It's fine.
I'm a little confused about what's going on here, but I'm appreciating that you two aren't fighting at the dinner table like you usually are. That's much nicer.
Sure. Clearly, Milton has had a very big day. Probably doesn't need me on his case as well.
Now, because you have invoked your pride, Milton, it is an automatic success. And there's after a while, your dad. You can see that your dad is studying you for a while, and then, without saying anything, he just, you know, he like pushes his glasses back up and then tucks into dinner, and then, you know, very banal conversation filters around the table, and eventually you finish dinner and you kind of get ready for the end of the day, and you're in your room, and there is a little bit of a knock on the door, and you turn and you see your dad standing there in the doorway, and he's doing that thing where he's like, like leaning on the door frame.
Hey, Dad.
He's like, "Hey, kid. Look, if you and your friends, found yourselves in something, and you were pretty brave, and you used your brain to think your way out of stuff. That's good. That's good. That's good. They seem like a good bunch of kids, and you're home safe, and I really appreciate I appreciate how forthright you were at the dinner table. Then you were very, you stuck to your guns, and you had something you wanted to say, and you said it, and that's not easy to do in this life. So yeah, I'm proud of you, kid. Nice.
Thanks, Dad.
That's okay, but look, if this, you got to talk to your mom and I. She was
Yeah.
still worried.
I should have called.
So just yeah, you should have. But hey, look, we're always learning. But now you know.
And thanks for understanding. I appreciate it. Dad, before you go,
Yeah.
I'm just curious. No reason really, but what do you know about the Guardian of Silver Peak?
You see me, he's like, oh, that's I mean, there's stories all over the place. It's a lot of it's just a lot of superstitious nonsense, really, mumbo jumbo, spirits, spooky things on the mountain. I mean, if there was like that, to me, honestly, it makes no sense. But some people want to believe what they want to believe.
You don't
Do I believe that there's a Guardian of Silver Peak? I mean, I've seen no factual evidence. There's been no, people have gone out looking for it to try and find, and everything we found can be easily explained as, like it's people say, oh, we found these tracks. And it's like, well, yeah, they meant they're animal tracks. They're animals that live in the woods. And they say, oh, we've seen this and we've seen that. And they're like, oh, okay, well, yeah. Some of those sightings coincide with some of the tests that we were running at the Lope. Sometimes because the mountain's so large and there's a lot of resources and minerals there. Sometimes you see work crews out there doing things, and sometimes when people don't understand things, Milton, they try to justify things, and so they invent stories. They make things up in a way for their own mind to make sense of what they see around them.
Is it kind of like a hypothesis?
Yeah, but it's a hypothesis lends itself to scientific scrutiny, to experimentation, and to actually figuring things out. These are more like hypotheses that people just decide don't need any further investigation, because they discount the fact that we could possibly ever learn anything about the great mystical things beyond.
But the data that you collect and others suggest that they're just stories. They're not real.
Well, yeah. All of the rumors that we've that people have bothered to investigate have always come up with very explainable results.
Well,
From somewhere in the house, you hear Milton's mom call out, "Sweetheart, can you make sure that Milton has a bath before he goes to bed tonight? He needs a little time to relax, so you make sure he gets time to wind down."
Dad, do I have to?
He's like, yeah, you heard your mother.
Okay.
He's like, yeah, you see him, he does the like readjust his pants again. He's like, yep. I mean, contrary to popular belief, what people might say, your mom is the boss. and you got to do what the boss says. All right.
That's great advice, Dad.
Yeah.
I love you. And he gives him a big hug. Is it
He
okay?
like squeezed it right back.
Is it okay if I talk to Quill for just a couple minutes before I hop in the bath?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's okay.
Thanks, Dad.
No problem.
Hey, Dad.
All right.
Good talk.
Yeah, it was a good talk. Nice, good talk, champ. You see, like heads downstairs, and yeah, and then you hear him. He's like, "Yes, honey. Yeah, he's getting ready. Yeah, he's just gonna talk to Quill for a bit. It's fine." He's like, he's just gonna talk to Quill. You know, everything's gonna be like, Tiffany, get off the phone. You know, it's late.
Yeah.
All right. Who? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Who could she be? Who could she be talking to? I'm like, it's so late.
She doesn't get off the phone for another 15 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Classic.
Nice. Milton, so you have a little chat with Quill. Is there anything specific you ask Quill? I mean, Quill is just, you know, your little dictation.
Yeah. I think what Milton does is he treats Quill like a friend, even though he built Quill essentially. But what he's going to do is he's going to recount the story of what happened today to Quills, and so that there's a record of it, because he's thinking about data, and he's like, Quill, I think this might be important data to refer to in the future as we come up with our hypotheses about what's going on. And then he just goes through and rattles off the story before hopping in the
great.
in the
And you
bath.
can see on Quill's little LCD screen, like all of the points you bring up are being scrolled past.
Nice.
Yep. Nice. Right on. Okay. Excellent. Okie dokie. So coming back to the van as the van kind of drives off away from Milton's house. A little less bumpy now because now you're in the burbs. You see the watcher turn around and he's just like, all right, where to next?
Wait, where are you going after all of this? Like,
I'll go back to my lab.
okay, cool. Wait, your lab? That's not just where you sleep?
Well, no, it's not my lab. It's for some reason I knew it was there and it seemed isolated, so it meant that I could, do what I needed to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could. I mean, we can go there tomorrow if you want. I mean, do you want to go there right now? It's pretty late, right?
No, I should probably get home.
Okay.
You definitely should get home. Your father is the sheriff.
Yeah, and I've been like missing for like a day.
You see, Watcher turns to you and he's like,
He already hates us.
Good.
No, it's gonna be so bad.
Like, I can cover with Milton's parents. There's no way me or Jack can cover with your dad. So
okay.
Work on something good.
Question though, do we think it's a bad idea for my dad to know about creepy people in the hover car? Because that is legitimately creepy, and he probably should know that. Maybe not about Mr. Watcher, but
Maybe if you approach the subject in the right way, like maybe you ask him if there's been any. Maybe ask him if there's anybody in town who might have come from a government agency, because you saw something that looked a little like a Fed car.
Okay, sure. But I'm guessing we're trying to keep this under wraps, right?
Most of this? Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. But also, if he asks why you're asking about Fed cars, you can tell him that you saw the black car with the people with suits in it. Like, you can tell him that much. That's fine. Like, don't keep that from him. But see whether or not he knows why they're in town as sort of the fact-finding mission. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, my house is probably next closest, right?
Yeah, if you want to go there next, yeah.
Yeah. Want to. This is gonna be so bad.
Jack is going to just like duck into, if there's windows that you can see into the van. Jack is going to hide.
Yeah.
Yeah, sweet. So yeah, basically, Mr. Watcher is just like, okay, I guess we're going to your house.
Yeah, just like down the street a little bit. You won't need to park outside. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he pulls up like about 4 or 5 houses away.
Yeah, cool.
And does that thing where like he slows down, and as he turns into your street, he kind of like he switches the headlights off and just kind of rolls to a stop.
Yeah.
So
like,
you're all sitting there in the dark, basically.
Grab my bike,
itself,
open the door.
There is, like, as you slide the door open, it's like, honestly, it's probably the loudest door in all of existence. It's like, as you gather yourself, pull yourself out.
Just get outside the van and then take a really heavy breath and turn back to everybody else like I'm going off to war. We should talk about all this stuff tomorrow. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, we should. Don't close the door. Don't close the door. We'll close it when we get away. It's fine.
Okay. I just start walking down the street and all the beads on my wheels are very sadly click-clacking. As I go to my house.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Dokies. Yeah, nice. So you spooky dokey your way back to your house. What do your parents look like, April?
Oh, that's a great question. I think April's mom is is probably like a stay-at-home mom, because I imagine in a small town the sheriff is probably on call most of the time. So she in my mind she's a very practical, I'm picturing like a Laura Dern kind of lady, like hair in a ponytail, like jeans and a practical shirt, just like keeping stuff running while the sheriff's working. I don't know about the sheriff. I can't remember if we described the sheriff in the first episode or not.
I think we described him as just
grumpy.
kind of a very kind of grumpy, just looks stern. You can describe him now.
He is very stern kind of guy. I think well built, not necessarily like broad shouldered or anything, but just like he's doing stuff all the time, so he keeps in shape. I imagine he's a very grumpy person, but when he gets like properly mad, he has that kind of sternness in his face that could just cut through steel. And both of them are nowhere near as glitzy and ostentatious as April is.
Yeah, brilliant.
She has all of that for the whole family. They're very much not on that vibe.
Okay.
I think he probably wears his uniform most of the time because he's mostly working.
Mostly working all the time?
Yeah.
Okay, you head to your house, and you notice that your dad's patrol car is not there. The lights are on. Do you go in the front door, or?
That might be good. I mean, April's just like, well, that means that I might not have to have an argument with him right now, which could be good. So I think she is going to, I think she will take the bike up to the front door. And I don't know if she would have a key to the house, because 14's not super, I don't know. But
also latchkey kids.
Yeah, sure.
Mom.
Yeah. Probably knocks on the door regardless of whether it's open or not, just to make a point of letting her mum know that she's home, rather than accidentally slipping into the house and seeming like she's trying to avoid people. She's like wants to make a point of being like, I'm home. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. You knock on the door, and eventually the door kind of opens a little bit, and you see your mum peek out. She looks at you, and she's like, "April,
Hi, Mom.
what? Where?" And she's like, "Where? What are you? What is happening? What is going on?
What?
Get inside! Get inside! Get inside!"
Okay.
Like, she closes the door and does it. She turns around. She's like, "Ah,
I'm sorry I'm
do
late.
you have any idea how late it is, young lady?"
Yeah, it's like pretty late, right?
It's pretty. It's like,
It's
oh.
fully dark out.
Yeah, it's fully dark out now. And she's like,
Mhm.
"Okay, all right. Look, what happened? Where were you? You disappeared from school today.
Okay. I got busy with rehearsals. I thought that it had all been like cleared with the school and stuff because you know the big shows coming up for the festival, and I thought maybe that had been cleared, but I guess people hadn't heard about it.
You see her like hands on hips, and she's like, "Young lady,
Mhm.
as soon as you left school, you don't think the first person we called was Jillian? We called Jillian.
Oh.
She had not seen you. So she's like, so you might want to think up something a little bit more, I don't know, truthful before your father gets home."
Oh no. Oh. I think. Hmm. Okay. I'm sorry, Mom. But it's like kind of embarrassing. Like I know it was like a bad idea at the time, but I kind of did it anyway. So it's like kind of hard to like talk about.
She's like, what? Hang on, hold on. Did something happen?
Nothing bad. Just like, you know, I'm getting older and older kids like to like push boundaries and stuff. And so you make weird bad decisions sometimes. And this was a weird bad decision time.
You look at your mother and you see that the color is draining from her face, and she's like, what is she like grabs your hand and like leads you into the lounge, and she's like, sit down. And she sits down. She's like, what is going on? What is happening? What do you mean you're getting older and you're making bad decisions? Are there other people involved? What is this?
No. It's just, you know, sometimes you like have to follow the rules all the time. And so sometimes you don't follow the rules.
What do you mean rules? What is? And she like gets up and she's like, oh, okay.
Nothing bad happened. I was fine, okay?
Like, oh, nothing bad happens. That's what they always say. They always tell you nothing bad happens, and then suddenly you're 16 and you're barefoot and you're pregnant, and suddenly we've got to go over. And she is going off the rails. She's like, oh my god, oh my gosh, is it one of the other performers in the thing? Is it like
what?
What is it? She's like, is it one of the boys at school? Is that what's happening? Is that what's going on?
No.
She's like, what, is it one of the girls at school? Like I don't know what's going on.
No, it's fine.
What do you mean? What am I supposed to think? You come home and you tell me that you're getting older and you're making bad decisions and you're staying out late all night. She is losing it.
Yeah. April has decided that this is the path that she's going to use as the like distraction. Like, I'm not going to try and bring up anything about crimes. I'm just going to make my mom worried that I'm interested in boys all of a sudden.
You see, she's like, oh, okay, all right.
Mom, it's fine, okay? I'm fine. I'm sorry that I scared you.
It's not fine, suddenly. Oh, yeah. Can
so
you?
What? Am I grounded?
What? She's like, don't you try and turn this back on me, young lady. Can you make make a roll for me, please?
Can I make a charm roll?
Oh yeah, to either depend. Like, are you trying to? She is. For one thing, that she will tell your father. And
yes, for sure.
Now you have to try and direct her, I guess direct her outrage to something that you want. Otherwise, she is, that she will blow it out of proportion, and it's going to it'll get much worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, you want to make a charm is totally fine. Yep.
Sweet. Okay. That's the best thing I've got. So that's 8 dice.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah. You'll only need 1 success for this.
Great. Oh, I love the sound of all of this. I did not get a success, so I will use a luck point to re-roll that.
On all 8 dice. Okay. Yeah. All right.
All 8 dice.
Yeah.
Because
what a great use of a luck point. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Very useful luck point. Thank you, chat, for a carryover luck point from last time. Okay. There we go. That's 2 successes.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. So, also, I will point out at the start of each session, your preliminary luck points do refresh.
Oh, cool. Great.
Yeah. 2 successes. Okay. Yes. So 2 successes on a charm roll. So you will get to kind of direct the conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
The bonus effects you can choose, which are helpful. One is she keeps believing you. Another one is you formed a lasting relationship. She will take risks to help you. She will try to persuade others to believe you. She's frightened, confused, or impressed, or she's infatuated. So you've got some great bonus effects you can buy there. You already know that you've essentially manipulated your mother where you need her to go.
Yeah.
What other bonus effect would you?
Okay. I think this fits within kind of the taking risks to help you situation. Is like, I genuinely think, for the most part, April has been a very rules following kid, especially with her dad being as grumpy as he is. And I think that she's intentionally trying to be vague about whatever she got up to, because then she doesn't have to stick with a story, and her go-to cover story has already been blown, so she's just kind of trying to keep it vague. Can I use that extra success to kind of at least somewhat convince my mum that it's a good idea for her to start pushing boundaries at this age? That it's a good idea for her to be exercising her independence a little bit, because she has been a pretty following the rules kid. Yep.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, cool. So you have a conversation for a while, and eventually your mum starts to believe that you're not in any danger.
Yes.
And that in her mind she starts to calm down, and she's like, well, people need to discover their lives and the things about themselves, and as your parents, we should absolutely be supporting that. You're right. And yeah,
I get that I kind of went in the deep end to start with, so I'm sorry that I didn't. I'll try and keep you posted for the rest of what I'm doing stuff, you know.
Yeah, maybe maybe we should have a chat before you start doing
Sure.
stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Good. Good. Great. Well,
Did you need help
look.
with dinner or dishes?
Yeah, you can help with the dishes, sure.
Okay.
Um, and like as you're doing the dishes, your mum kind of starts to like probe you on a few questions of like, so, is there someone, someone
Yeah. I don't know.
yeah, you keep it vague. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the end of doing the dishes and getting ready for bed, you're fairly certain that your mother has switched from being like terrified to now actually quite quite proud that her little girl is growing up. That kind of vibe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Hello.
Awesome.
And then I go
Right on.
up to my room and try and avoid my dad whenever he comes home, even though I'm sure he will be grumpy.
You kind of you drift off to sleep. Eventually, he does get home. He gets home at like around 1 a.m. You hear his car pull up, and kind of you kind of hear him arrive in the door, and basically just you think you hear like the fridge open, and after a few minutes he like just apparently goes to bed. Like
Okay.
he did, yeah, definitely like yeah. Nice, excellent. Yeah, cool. And you're fairly certain that your mum's got your back.
Cool.
Awesome. Okay. Jack, Jeremy. Is there anywhere either of you would like to go? Would you like to go? Would you like to be dropped off by Mr. Watcher in the van, or what do
We
you
should
want
get you
to do?
back to your folks, Jack.
My place is further than yours.
Yeah, but your folks are going to be more worried about you. I got time.
Nice. Yeah, you head south over the Laneway Bridge down into the southern part of Pinehurst, and the close packed, dense kind of central city housing of Pinehurst over the bridge gives way to more open expanses, larger lots. You see some of the more affluent neighborhood off to the left as you hang a right past the hospital and the veterinary service out towards the local farms. And before long, you arrive, at Jack's farm. Jack, do you think either of your parents would be up, or what are you going to do?
If you could just, Mr. Watcher, sir, if you just keep driving, there's a second driveway, and you just don't drive down. He will not like that. Just pull over, and I'll head down with my bike. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, yep, okay.
So I will head down Mr. Carter's driveway.
To Carter's place? Yep, sweet. Cool. Yeah, you eventually pull into Carter's house, and yeah, Carter. There are a lot of Carter has. He's got that thing where he has cars and stuff in his yard and like bits of machinery that he's kind of torn apart and worked on. And as you get kind of close to his driveway, the van like trips a sensor and like lights like go on.
Oops.
Like, no, it's fine. Like the lights have gone on. You're fairly certain that Mr. Carter will know that someone is at his driveway. But yeah, you jump out. Yeah, Mr. Watcher looks at you. He's like, "Do you need me to wait or anything? Make sure you are safe."
Nope. I got it from here. Pretty sure.
Okay. Right on.
The bikes are usable, eh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. I'll jump on my bike. I'll like wave by Jeremy. Good luck.
Nice.
And then-
are you, Jack, are you going to Carter's or are you going home?
I'm gonna head down to Carter's, find out if he's heard from my parents, and then I'll cut back across the fields to home.
Yeah, right on. Excellent. Okay, so you head down towards Carter's house, and as you're cycling towards his house, you hear a sound in the darkness beside you, sound of like trees, bushes rustling, and the sound of something moving quite quickly through the fields. And then before long, you are like, something like bursts out of the bushes as Grinch like slams into you, and kind of
I swerve sharply on the bike in like mild panic, and then realize it's my dog.
As he leaps up and tries to like paw at you, and he's licking you and stuff. And that's as you're getting closer, you see the porch light at Carter's flick on. But yeah, Grinch. What does Grinch look like? Grinch is a German Shepherd.
Yes.
Yeah, and part of Grinch has been like cybernetically augmented. Like what parts of Grinch?
Solely his back, right leg.
Yeah. Nice.
How dark is it?
It's quite dark. Yeah.
Cool.
As you're sitting there, Grinch is like they're doing that like whine and trying to like lick your face, and the porch light at Mr. Carter's house has flicked on, and you can hear his dog, which is just named Dog, come out it's kind of like a dog door, but where Grinch's back right leg has been cybernetically changed, Dog's back legs are essentially in one of those carriers with the wheels. Like something happened to Dog and his back legs were paralyzed, so now he's in this kind of he's like a little trolley with wheels, and he
like
wheels,
a little chariot.
Yeah, like a little chariot. Yeah, and he wheels his way out and kind of looks at you and gives like a couple of barks, and then you see the screen door of Mr. Carter's open, and he steps out just to kind of have a look. What does Mr. Carter look like?
Mr. Carter is in his 70s. He is aged. No, he's still pretty tall. Still, standing on his own 2 feet. With that really typical grumpy air of a dude who's lived alone most of his life, and he's happy with that.
Yeah, sweet. Nice. And you've like, the door opens and he comes out and looks and sees you. And he's like,
Mr. Carter, it's me. Jack. It's Jack.
All right.
My parents haven't called, have they?
Yeah, they called earlier, kiddo. Where you been?
Oh. I just got caught up in a group project. We were at school, and I was really hoping to just cut across the fields and not be noticed. We just lost track of time, and it was kind of so cool. We were I didn't even notice I was hungry. I'm hungry now. It was a group project for a school. It was.
And he stands there and was like, do you need anything? Yeah, I got some food if you need some snacks.
Oh, yeah, I would love some food. What do you got?
All right. And you see him turns and he's like, come on. You see Dog like follows him into his house. And you head in, and there are a number of half built, half repaired kind of machines in his house that he's either started to dismantle or is trying to like piece together. And you get to a table that's got, stacks of papers on it and, like an open toolbox and things. And he sweeps a little bit of that away and basically like essentially makes you a peanut butter jam sandwich. Classic PB&J.
I tear into it
down,
and then
place it down with like a glass of orange juice.
I tear into it and then toss a couple pieces to Grinch and dog, obviously.
And dog, for sure.
Yeah.
He sits down at the thing beside you with like his own kind of sandwich. And he's just eating it and he's like, You okay? You safe? Yeah, you're not in any trouble?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
The group project, it's like a little more complicated than I thought it was going to be. But we got Milton. I'm pretty sure I mentioned him, a couple times ago.
Milton.
He's like 10.
Oh, he's
really
smart.
good with. Yeah. And then Jeremy and April. So like I'm pretty sure we'll have it covered. It was just a little more. It just took more time than I thought it would. And I didn't notice. It's been kind of a big day.
Oh yeah. Well, I understand. Sure. Well, just look, like sometimes projects get away from you, and you can get caught up in it. But if you keep staying out late, you folks are going to get worried, right?
Yeah, I should probably head back. Thank you for the sandwich. Yeah, right. And it was nice to see Dog. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he likes you. Good. All right. Stay safe, kid.
I'll toss him a wave and head out the door and cut across the field some. Yep.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you glance back and you can see that he's kind of sitting at he's at the kitchen bench through his window watching you, making sure you get home.
Sweet.
Yeah, would your parents be awake?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, because they're.
And I also think
your dad is up at like all out like early start.
Yeah. If anything, I'm probably like if they catch me tomorrow is when I'll get yelled at. If I get yelled at. I do think if there are any like sensors on the farm, I know how to
avoid them.
Yep, like avoid them or undo them. Yep. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, great.
And Grinch is just as good too. Like if I'm belly crawling on the dirt, Grinch is like,
yeah,
100%.
Awesome. Yeah, so the two of you commando stealth your way home, and the house is relatively quiet when you get in.
Yeah.
You do notice that there is like a note on the fridge that just says Jack, dinner in the fridge, and like a plate that's got aluminum foil over it. Yeah. But the house is pretty quiet.
Yeah, cool. I toss that back and go to bed without like brushing my teeth or anything because when the pipes come on, they're really loud.
They do that with the whine and the rattle. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, nice. So yeah, you and Grinch go home to bed. Jeremy, you're in the van with Watcher, heading back through town, and he's just like, "All right, do I need to drop you somewhere?"
Look, honestly, I'm kind of fine with this right now. And like Jeremy's sort of staring out, like he's climbed into the passenger seat of the van. The window wound down so that like there's a breeze pulling through his hair. Got the collar of his coat pulled up. He's like, it's probably pretty safe to say that Blade Runner never got made, but like in his head, that's the vibe that he's got going on. But yeah, he's sort of staring out of the window, like watching what little light whips past in the distance. But as he's doing that, he sort of scratches the back of his neck, and so this guardian thing, huh? What's how did the guardian become three things? Like, that's, I'm assuming that's what you guys are, right? The pieces of the guardian.
Yeah, and as he's driving, the stereo in the car kind of crackles to life, and you hear Harmony's voice. And the watcher, he basically says, it's like we were all one thing. And then Harmony takes over and basically says, the Guardian of Silver Peak is a collection of us. When we are together, we are the Guardian. We were one thing until we weren't. Someone separated us. We are not sure what our original purpose was, but we were the Guardian. We exist in the mountain, watching things and preserving balance. Someone found a way to separate us into individuals. And you see Watcher basically, he turns to you and says, imagine that a person is like a piece of, like a pie, right? And then someone comes along with a knife and cuts a slice out. We, as the Guardian, we were the pie. And then someone found a way to cut me, Harmony, Solver out. So whatever the Guardian is now, it's probably less of itself because it doesn't have us anymore.
I think no, I and like Jeremy's got his notebook out and he's sort of scribbling these things down. I feel like I kind of understand what you like sometimes you'll see those sort of those jigsaw puzzles where it's made up of pieces and each piece is a jigsaw puzzle and you put them together, and that's sort of the right. Okay.
Yeah, but the original picture wasn't a jigsaw until someone cut it into jigsaw pieces.
I think we might be getting a little lost on the metaphor, but no, I'm just honestly the whole computer stuff and robots, and how are you in a person, Watcher? Like you look like a person, but you're not, right? Like you're computer code. I mean, Harmony obviously can be all over the place because she's code, and we've got Solver in code on a disk, and like how are you a person? Like, are you a person? Was that a person before you were there?
I don't know. I woke up in this, and I know things. I don't know how I know them. I don't know how I was made. But there's something in me. My purpose is to see things and to find things. And I felt like a strong desire to find harmony and to find solver. I'm not sure why, but whoever made me wanted me to do something I didn't want to do, so I left and found something that seemed familiar. So I guess I found the lab where I've been staying, and I found a lot of files about things that I knew, but I don't know how I knew them. And so I started trying to do the things that I was told to do, or trying to follow the instructions in these files that I found, in the hopes that something would jog my memory, but it doesn't make any sense yet. I don't know. All I know is my purpose is to see and to find and to locate things. And there's something else around it that's trying to get me to do things, and I don't know what that is. So I thought if I could find harmony and solver, things would make sense. Harmony can be all over the place all the time. She's smarter than anyone else. And solver is literally designed to solve problems and find answers. So
Yeah, I kind
that's
of know how
kind of
that.
it.
I kind of know how that feels.
And you, like, as you're having this conversation, you realize now, because you didn't tell Watcher where you wanted to go, you've arrived at the industrial address. And he kind of, as he's talking, he realizes that you've arrived there, and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I think I just went on autopilot and came back here. Did you need to get home?"
Oh, that's okay. I'll get myself home. You head on in. I guess we'll cross paths again. I hope. We I know I'd love to try and help, and I know what it's like to. I know what it's like to feel like you're apart or separated from something. So I'm sorry you're going through it right now.
And you see the roller door like begins to lift up, and the interior of this space it looks like a mechanic's workshop. There are benches and pieces of equipment, large robotic arms. You can see cables strewn everywhere. It's the kind of stuff like Milton often talks to you about, and you're like, but you can see as if like from are you just outside? Like, have you gotten out of the van, or are you in the van?
Yeah, so I would like on that little like, I guess sort of emotional tete-a-tete. I would have been swinging out of the van and like closing the door. Doing that kind of like hanging in the door on the window frame.
Yeah, awesome. So Watcher like pulls the van in, and as he parks the van in a sort of an open space in this room, he opens the door, and you can see that the equipment in the room crackles and fizzes and kind of to life. And you hear Harmony's voice pop up. And Harmony says, she says, "This is a lot of equipment. Where did you find this?" And Watcher says, "I don't know. I just came here, and a lot of it made sense." And you can see that Harmony is like, "These are very powerful machines. Is this what made you? And you see Watcher like, yep, yep, it is. And you're out, Jeremy, you're outside on the street watching this conversation, and Watcher like isn't even paying attention to you. He's just got out of the van and is now moving towards a computer and is having a conversation essentially with Harmony, where he's like, Harmony, do you think maybe you can look at this? I don't know what makes sense. And Harmony's like, I will investigate.
Yeah, I think like sort of it almost feels like Jeremy almost feels like that it's not a conversation that he wants to be a part of. Like he's still slightly uncomfortable with like Harmony and the idea that a robot can maybe look like a person has him feeling a little disconcerted as well. So like just that walk to clear his head.
Yep.
And like, you know, I feel like he makes his way towards home. Like he's not trying to avoid the house, but he also he's pretty sure he knows what he's gonna find.
Do you head through the center of town, past the sound shell that was being built?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Jeremy's one of those kids who, you know, does get out and wander at night a little bit. Like he always feels like he's pretty safe. So yeah, I'd say he's probably walking past the sound shell just to see what developments have been made during the day while all of this craziness has been going on.
Yeah. You can see some of the stalls have been set up. Like there's obviously no goods or anything in them, but where the market will be has been established, and the sound shell is mostly finished. The construction bots are still working all through the night. Should be ready by the morning. And you get to the sound shell, and then you hear another voice. You hear someone say, "A little late for a walk, isn't it, Jeremy?"
It's a little late to be accosting a child, isn't it?
And you turn, and you see Mr. Johnson from the bakery, just out, like sitting out on a park bench, basically. And he's
I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson. That was very rude of me. What, sir? Why are you here? I thought you started baking at like 4 a.m.
Oh, we do. But Mrs. Johnson and I, we're I think being night owls kind of suits our persona a little bit better. And I just thought I'd sit down and watch the sound shell being built. It's quite fascinating. Why are you? I don't mean to startle you. I just everything okay? It's pretty late.
Yes, Mr. Johnson. Sorry, it is late, but I guess I'm kind of a night owl too. I just kind of felt like a walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I do know what you mean. Well, look, like I don't want to stop you from your walk. I'm just gonna stay here and enjoy the night air. But I mean, it is a little late, Jeremy. You should probably.
Oh, I'm heading home, sir. But I appreciate your concern, and I hope the entertainment is good, and that I don't really know how to end this conversation. I'm sorry, sir.
He's like, no, it's fine.
See you next time I see you.
Sure. Yes. See you. See you when I see you, Jeremy.
Yeah, and then Jeremy's going to kind of like, again, shrug up into his coat. I feel like he probably enjoyed Bogart and the Maltese Falcon many times.
Oh yeah, yeah. Nice. So you bid Mr. Johnson, a farewell and head off, and you get a strong sense of being watched, and you walk to the end of a street and turn back, and Mr. Johnson isn't sitting on the park bench anymore. But you notice that a number of the construction bots have stopped working and are looking at you.
Huh. Yeah, and Jeremy sort of like cuts across the intersection looking for like an alleyway that will take him out of the field of view of like any robots, somewhere where he knows that like, because I feel like he's got a pretty clear idea of like which parts of the town get a lot of like the maintenance traffic from like the rubbish robots and that kind of thing. And, you know, some of them are going to be too narrow, or like the way that people leave their bins in them is going to create obstacles that most of these auto pathing robots can't find their way through.
Yeah,
you know, they're not
absolutely.
They're not obstacles to people, but they're definitely obstacles to things that are operating on 360-degree sensors.
Yeah,
in much the same way that like salt creates a barrier for anything operating off 360-degree sensors.
Yes. Yeah. Those, perfect. So there are definitely pathways you can take through the town that keep you out of immediate view of anything, and eventually you end up home. The lights are still on. Are your parents likely to be awake?
I think like as I get home, like as Jeremy gets home, there's, you know, he knows the front door so well. He knows exactly the points where the hinges start creaking. He knows the speed. Like he knows the speed at which he needs to hit the thumb latch to make sure that it makes the least possible noise. Because he's done it a lot. Spent a lot of time with this front door. And so he gets inside and he just like slips off his unlaced combat boots.
Yeah.
So that he's just in his socks. And he pads through into the living room, like at the front of the house there, and he sees, you know, his father's fallen asleep in his armchair again, and there's sort of a very precariously balanced glass of something rye bourbon. And he just carefully like grabs the glass and puts it on the side table next to his dad, and then grabs like one of the throw blankets that his mother's left on the couch and tucks it over him.
Awesome.
And in sleep, his father looks gentle. He looks like the edges of the drawing that make him up are a lot fuzzier. You know, when he's awake, when he's moving, he's sharp. He's been carved out of teak, but now he looks like the old man that he is.
Yeah.
And Jeremy like leaves one of the lamps in the lounge on, but turns off the main light. As I pad through, and then like I see that it's the hallway light that's on up next to like my parents' bedroom. I flick that off just to see whether or not there's any light falling out from my parents' room where my mother clearly is.
No,
and
there's not.
No. Yeah, and so I just head to bed and like leave the house darker than it was, but perhaps not entirely pitch black.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, as you head to bed, your window looks out into the Maplewood Forest, right? Is that your window that does that? Yeah. And the Maplewood, the forest itself, because it blocks so much light, it almost looks as though the forest creates a veil or a curtain. Like there's some sort of, as if the forest itself had become some sort of barrier to stop you from seeing something, or to stop something from seeing you. You know what I mean? Like that. You know when woods seem oppressive?
Yeah. Well, I think that's very much sort of Jeremy's feeling, is that like the looking out over towards this forest, because a lot of the forest is taller than the house that he's lived in. And that feeling is not necessarily like oppressive per se, but more that there is something that calls to him. Like he can feel a call from the forest, whether or not it's one that he really wants to answer.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, I've got my bed set up in my room in such a way that I'm looking out my window. Like I wake up looking out the window.
Looking out.
And the last thing I see before I go to sleep is the forest.
Yeah. Yeah. Okie dokie. Right on. All right. So as the group of you drift off to hopefully some sort of restful sleep, the morning arrives, and it's 12:37. So let's take a break and come back after the break and see what the new day has in store for our kids, shall we?
That sounds wonderful.
Excellent.
You guys, beautiful, beautiful descriptions of all of that.
I loved meeting all of your families. I love it.
Yeah. It's hard to sometimes realize that a lot of this is being made up as we go. I mean, as we go, the story is being created, and that is so amazing here. So very stoked. This is very fun, and we'll be back in just a couple of short minutes. Everybody stick around. There's more to come. We'll see you shortly.
Right on. Okay, so a new day dawns in Pinehurst, and the group of you have woken up and kind of been getting ready. Whether or not you are avoiding your parents or not is up to you. There is a point where you wake up and get ready, and you're trying to, I guess, kind of mentally and emotionally prepare yourself for what is about to happen. And each of you head downstairs or into the hall, and you notice that none of your parents are there. And you look kind of around the house and eventually look out the front window towards your front yard. And you notice that all four of you, your parents, are outside on the lawn early on a Saturday morning, speaking to some people in dark suits. You notice a black Buick LeSabre parked outside the front of your house. And it appears to be just a conversation that's happening between your parents and maybe one or two suited individuals. It seems like the conversation is isolated to the group that's out front of your house. There doesn't seem to be any any indication that people are going to come back into the house, but there is always the possibility that someone may, especially for those of you that have very hospitable parents, they may invite them in to chat inside the house. It is up to you. What would you like to do in terms of this current situation? If you walked outside right now, those individuals in the suits would absolutely see you, and your parents would absolutely. You would be part of this confrontation that's happening, or this situation. It's not a confrontation. This situation that's happening in the front yard. You may choose to try and avoid it if you wish. It's up to you.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is a big decision. Big decision.
Big decision.
One question I had was, Allan, was at one point when we were in our hideout,
Yes.
Milton had been reviewing video footage of Josh, zapping himself, and there was a picture of, or it was captured on the video for a moment, but then it was gone, of a person. And I'm wondering, as Milton kind of like looks out his window down at the front yard, does he recognize any of the faces of these suited individuals?
I would say give me a mind investigate, or maybe comprehend. Probably investigate is closer.
Okay. All right. Investigate. Here we go. I did not succeed, but if I could, I would use a luck point.
Yes, you may use a luck point.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And thank you to the chat for donating those luck points. Very appreciated.
Yeah, and also for pass me the meeple. I as a loop master, I don't roll any dice, so the luck points don't have a mechanical effect for me. They just make me feel lucky and loved. So thanks.
I did get one success with when I used the luck point, so thank you.
Great. So there, you look out at the gentleman outside, and you think back and you remember that piece of footage. They don't resemble the person that you saw in the footage, but you have definitely seen one of these individuals before. They weren't in a suit the last time you saw them. The last time you saw one of these suited individuals was at the most recent science fair. They were one of the industry judges, and they wandered around a lot of the science projects and the displays and the submissions for the competition. And at the time, they weren't in a suit. They were wearing a jacket from the Loop research facility, and they appeared to be taking notes. You do now, though, thinking back, looking at that and like really replaying it in your mind, there's a moment where the person in the footage that you saw looked a lot like Mr. Johnson from the bakery.
Bakers. Real quick, Milton. No, you can't. They're up to far too early in the morning, and apparently up late at night. Milton would probably very carefully walk down the stairs to the main floor of the house and find his sister Tiffany, and be like,
yeah, she's like sitting, like doing that thing where you have a couch that's near one of the windows. She's like kneeling on it, looking out the window.
Yeah, I'm gonna go climb up next to her.
She just looks at you and she's like, "What did you do?"
I'm not exactly sure. Could you hear any of the conversation?
No, it's really like it doesn't like I didn't hear any shouting or anything. It seems pretty seems okay.
Do you know who they are?
Obviously they're super secret spies. Look at them.
Yeah, they sure look like it.
Yeah. What do you want? You're not gonna go out there and talk to them, are you?
That might be a really bad idea.
That's a super bad idea. Yeah, don't do that.
No. Look, Tiffany, you're the best sister that I ever had, and I've never said that to anyone ever. And I think I'm gonna leave for school early.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm gonna probably
good
leave
idea.
for school early and go out the back door. And if
That's
anybody
probably
asks
a fair
about
idea.
me, maybe you could just say that I went to school early out the back door.
Well, I mean, I could say that, but Milton, like, have you hit your head? It's Saturday. There's no school. Tell you, you know what? No, like, and she like grabs your arm and drags you off. She's like, all right, drags you into the hallway, and kind of stands. She's like, okay, here's the plan. All right, so, you go get your things, and we are gonna get out of here. Okay. And she's like, and she like looks at you. She's like, now, what I'm gonna show you, you can never, ever tell mom and dad about. Okay.
I promise.
Okay. She's like, go get your things. Meet me back here.
Okay. And he runs up and grabs his bag. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Excellent. You grab your bag. You look back at Quill and you notice that the transcript that you were talking about last night is still kind of on the screen. And then Quill turns to you and is like, would you like to save the document? And there's a little yes, no. Blink, blink.
He thinks real hard. No.
It goes in and then deleting. Dot, 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 dot. Deleted.
And he races back down the stairs.
Yeah. So you see now Tiffany is at the back door and you see her. She's like, come on. And she like takes you out the back and you go into the garage and she takes you to a corner of the garage where she looks at you and she's like, now, remember what I said. All right? No, you can't tell anyone about this. And she literally does the similar to what Jeremy did at Tony's Radio's Hack. She's like, bang, and a panel on the wall goes, and she slides it out and steps through. And she's like, come on, come on.
Oh. He follows.
So she closes it up and she's like, where are you going?
I'm definitely not going to the school. And then he winks.
Okay. She's like, all right. And she's like, okay, I'll cover for you. I'll tell them you went out or something. It's fine.
And I will never say anything about this. Cross my heart, hope to die, stick a needle in my eye.
Good. Excellent. Great. And she like grabs you. She's like, okay, good. Go. Get out of here.
And he like turns.
Maybe don't come home so late and bring special super secret spies with you next time, okay?
Good advice. And he like takes a step to leave and then he thinks and he turns around and he walks over to her really quick and sort of awkwardly gives her a kiss on the cheek and then takes off.
She she's just like, ugh. Milton, get out of here. So yeah, you are now in essentially like a almost like one of those. There are houses on either side that their backyards back onto a shared driveway. So you can definitely get out without being seen, for sure.
Do I have my bike or would I not have my bike at this point?
Your bike's there, yeah. Your bike.
Oh yeah. I grab the bike and start pedaling towards the hideout.
Yep. Yeah, there are certain things where like now, there were times when a few times earlier this year actually, where you could have sworn that there were like raccoons or something rummaging around in the garage, but you're pretty sure now that was probably Tiffany sneaking out. Yeah, but you head out and away on your way to the school. I assume you're headed to the hideout?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, right. Okie dokie. Jeremy, Jack, April, Ruby, April. Where are you? What are you doing? What are you?
I feel like Jeremy sort of like looking out at his parents. It's, very used to reading his parents' body language, and he's seeing It's almost like he's seeing the hackles on his dad's neck rising, and he can see his mother's body language getting more and more nervous
Yep.
as it
Yep.
goes. And like there's just a beat where like he wants to just run out the back and hit the woods and just make his way away from here, but also like that tension between his parents, because like obviously his parents aren't going to blow up at this man or this person in a suit out front of their house, but who knows what's going to happen.
There is a point where you hear your dad's voice raise. You can't quite make out what he says, but his voice raises, and you see him start kind of like, like jabbing a finger at this person in a suit. We'll say it's a man. This gentleman in a suit. He's kind of pointing his finger at him, and then you see him turn and gesture towards your mum, and then gesture back towards the house. And he's like, you can see now that he's gesticulating wildly in terms of at them, kind of he's waving around and stuff. And you notice that the agents, they don't seem to react. These suited persons, they don't react, but eventually one of them does seem to, looks like they offer some sort of apology, and they move back back to the Buick, and look like they're going to get in. You notice one of them had been writing. There were two. One of them had been writing notes, and they put the notebook in their jacket and turn and head back towards their Buick. And you can see that your mum is already starting to turn and come back into the house, but your dad stays out there, almost defiantly, kind of watching them leave. Are you going to wait for your ma to get back, or are you going to?
Yeah, no, I think like didn't get to see her last night. Didn't get to, make my excuses or apologies. So at this point, giving her a friendly face inside the house seems like a good way to be.
Sure. She comes in, and you can see that she has like a shawl on over her kind of morning clothes, and she comes in and sees you, and she's like, "Oh, Jeremy, honey, what? Are you okay? Are you in some kind of trouble?"
Morning, Mom. I don't think so. I certainly haven't done anything that would be troublesome. Who is that out front? I heard Dad yell at him.
Yeah, they were just being a bit pushy, and I don't think your father appreciated that much. They seem to think you were involved in some sort of break-in at a facility up by the just beyond Silver Peak, but it just seems like they're looking for just anyone to blame that on. And
I think the last thing I need this weekend is Dad and I to go looking for a good switch. So breaking in anywhere is not what I need at all.
Yeah, and she comes over and she readjusts the shawl. She comes over and grabs your head and kisses you on the top of your head. She's like, "I know, sweetheart. It's not that. It's fine. I don't think neither me or your dad really appreciated them making those kinds of assumptions. Do you have any plans for today, for the weekend? Are you going to see your friends?"
I had actually thought about going and hanging out with them a little bit. If that's okay with you, Ma.
Yeah.
I'm sorry about last night. I didn't mean to get home, but we kind of got caught up in a group project, and time ran away from me. I Jack gave me a lift. I headed back to Jack's place for a little bit as well, and then I kind of just walked home last night. It was a really nice night.
Oh,
They've just about finished the sound shell down in the town.
Oh, for the spring, the hiking challenge.
Yeah, it's looking really
nice.
good.
Yeah,
maybe you and Dad can make it down sometime.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe we'll yeah, we'll all go. We'll go. We'll have you know, they've got the market, and we can go and get some food. Do they have those the little donuts? You know, the little.
I think I saw a donut stall, Mom.
Oh,
I think I
that's
did.
good. Yeah. Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah. Well, let's yeah, we'll see if we can figure it out. It'll be here for the next week or so. So we'll find something. I'm gonna go just make some coffee now. You are you gonna head out now, or do you wanna talk
Yeah,
to?
I'm gonna head off, Mom.
Okay. All right, honey. Well, do you need anything? Do you want me to make a snack or anything? Or...
I'm okay, Mom. I you have a good day. Okay.
Thanks.
I love you,
honey.
Mom.
Oh, I love you too, sweetheart. Say hi to Jack for me. She's a good kid.
I will.
All right.
And then yeah, Jeremy's gonna shoot off. Probably via the woods. Like,
Yep.
not sure where the Buick LeSabre is, so
It's at the front of your house.
yeah. So
but
that
you
was
have
kind
like
of what I was thinking. Like,
yeah,
avoid
you
the
have
road for a little bit.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. You can from where you are. You can definitely remain incognito for as long as you need.
Hmm.
Yeah, awesome. You head out, and as you're heading past, you can see through one of the side windows. Your mum has a window open, and she's staring out, kind of with a coffee in hand. You're not sure if she's looking at anything in particular, but she just looks relatively serene at the window.
Peaceful Saturday morning.
Yeah. Nice. All right, Jack. April, what are either of you doing?
I think Jack has, like, she's spotted outside from her upstairs bedroom window.
Yeah.
Very carefully made it down the stairs, hauled Grinch carefully down the stairs. There's a bowl of porridge sitting, waiting for her.
Yeah.
She's going to take 4 kind of massive gulps of that, and then very quietly slip out the back door. Oh, yep, slip out the back door.
Yep.
Grab her bike. Can she see Carter's place? Can she see Carter's place from where she is?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. Yeah. Can she figure out if he's concerned about the people in her front yard?
I mean, from all that the time that you've known Carter, you know he's absolutely watching through his kitchen window.
100%.
Absolutely, yeah.
And from the conversations we've had, and also the whole like kind of April Buick, so forth. Jack's gonna hit the backfields, and head to town.
Are you going to Carter's, or are you going
to town?
Straight. Yep. Sweet.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. You're like, there's one point where you have to like make your way through one of like the big hay sheds. And you do, and one of the farmhands is there working on a large one of the walker bots and sees you. His name is Eric. And he's like, he sees you and Grinch kind of walk up and looks at you and he's just like, "You okay?
Yep.
You're not gonna talk to the cops? Looks like the feds are after you. What'd you do? Did you kill someone? You killed a guy."
Sorry. Oh yeah, like absolutely.
I knew it.
Yeah, I don't go to school anymore. I just kill people because a 12-year-old is absolutely out being a hitman assassin. Yeah, I actually I learned.
Yep, I knew we couldn't trust you kids these days.
I learned everything I know on the farm, and I really think I have a full career here in it ahead of me.
Yeah, right on.
College is irrelevant.
It's a waste.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just indoctrination.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, hey, look, You keep on sticking it to the man, right?
One of the other farmhands leans in. They call her the Reaper.
Yeah, the Reaper. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've been hearing about you, Reaper. Hey, you know what's good, all right? Yeah, you keep sticking it to the man. You don't let them get you down, right?
Another farmhand chimes in and goes, no, it's Jack the Ripper.
Oh, right. Maybe it was an accent thing, like they were further from the west, you know? Yeah, it was more like Jack the Reaper, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's good. But hey,
The Reaper has the sickle, right? That's the
Yeah. It makes sense because you live on a farm. You know,
yeah,
right?
I totally know. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Right on.
many men. Yeah.
Excellent.
Just dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So dead. Good. Okay, well, yeah, you stay frosty, comrade.
And that's when Grinch goes.
Jack will give. Sorry.
Yeah.
Jack gives the same awkward wave, and then like,
yeah, they're all like, okay. And Eric is just like
sticking it to the man. The man.
Yeah, and he leans over. He's just like, "Don't worry, your secret's safe with us."
Cool. And Jack's like not actually quite sure anymore if they're joking, but but on board.
Yeah, excellent. Cool. Nice. So yeah, you make it through the hay sheds and head on out. Cool. April.
So
your mom and
talking out
dad.
the front of the house?
Yeah.
I want to go up to the front door and like lift the like flap on the letter slot on the front door and see if I can hear what they're actually talking about.
Yeah, you can hear snippets of kind of conversation. At one point, your father basically says, "Well, I mean, you need to tell me exactly why you think you have any kind of that makes no this. My previous investigation has nothing to do with what happened last night. Like I was called down to the station because someone had reported the break-in. So yes, of course, I was investigating it, but I don't see what jurisdiction you have to look at any of my documentation. Who are you exactly?" And one of the gentlemen says, "Well, I'm sorry, sir. We are, as I said, we are an independent research and investigation team that have been contracted by the Loop Research Facility in matters pertaining to their facilities. Someone was injured, and we have reason to believe that the perpetrator who injured that research scientist may have enlisted the help of local young people. And it's a terrible thing to have someone out there, brainwashing these kids and getting them to help. Like and you see him, he's like, and remind me again what reason you have to believe that my daughter was a part of that. And so you can, he's like, well, we have some security footage. He's like, okay, yeah, sure. Can I see that security footage? Can I see it? He's like, well, we don't have it on us right now. He's like, well, then I suggest you return with the security footage so I can review it before you even think about getting anywhere near my home or my family ever again. Thank you very much. Do you keep listening? What you do hear as well is you hear your mum. Your mum pipes up and she's like, "I'll have you know, Mr. Whoever you are, that my daughter, April, was home the entire time. Thank you very much. She was here with me. We were having a very important discussion, actually, about her life and her future, which is none of your business, by the way." You see, like, your dad's like, well, yeah, what my wife says. If my wife says April was here, then obviously April was here. Okay? So why don't you come back when you've got the footage, and then we can review it, and then we'll see, we'll see what's going on. Okay? And there's a moment where you hear like, of course. Very well. We'll return. You hear your father say, even better, how about you never come near my house again? Come and see me in my office next time for official business, okay? And they're like, yes, sir, Sheriff Daniels, of course. Of course, we will see you later on today with the footage. He's like, yeah, you will. Good.
Hell yeah.
Because he does the like, hikes up his belt, like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's right.
Amazing. April feels so stoked. Just so stoked to have parents that would do that. But also, would I have any way or any idea about like what case my dad might have been mentioning when he was like, I don't see why this would be related to my previous case?
In terms of the only major thing you can think of would be the disappearances from the last winter festival.
Okay.
In terms of other things, like maybe he doesn't really talk about work when he's at home.
Okay. Sure. Okay, I will go. I think that seems sorted, so I will sneak back upstairs and then start playing music really loudly, so it's like I've just woken up, because that's usually what I do when I've just woken up. Yeah, exactly.
What is blasting? Is it True Colors, Cyndi Lauper, or is it?
Ooh, no, it's more. I think it's the more upbeat stuff. It's probably like more like Wham and anything that was on like SingStar 80s.
Oh yeah, great.
It's like all those kinds of like party bangers.
Yeah. I think we're alone now. Bye, Tiffany. Yes. So.
Yeah, exactly. All that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Okay. Right on.
Yeah, and then is it reasonable to think that like because we'd said like we need to talk about this, can we get into our hideout on the weekend? Is that
yeah,
thing
absolutely.
we can do?
Yeah,
cool,
absolutely.
great. Then yeah. I imagine probably just like getting ready to go and meet up with everyone else and debrief.
Yeah, cool. Excellent. So the four of you reconvene at the hideout. And you all arrive relatively quickly. This was all unbeknownst to each of you, unless you discuss it. This was all happening relatively at the same time. But you arrive at the hideout, and you are now inside in the somewhat a little bit musty, but ramshackle, piecemeal sanctuary that is your hideout.
I want to note that Jax had the whole ride over to realize that she still hasn't discussed with her parents where she was last night.
Yep.
And she doesn't know how the conversation went with the strangers in suits this morning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The creepy the suit people, they were like at my house this morning.
Same.
Like, yuck.
Same?
Mine too.
What?
I told you guys. Remember when I said that I thought I had been followed yesterday to school, and that there was strange people? Okay, this is the proof.
They're like
Okay, Milton, you're right. Yes, you were right that you were being followed, and it turns out that probably all of us were being followed, but I am still unconvinced that there are aliens living in New Mexico.
Oh, there's plenty of evidence for that, Jeremy. We've talked about this before. There's actually U.S. Air Force video footage of it. The lights over Phoenix. I mean, come on. There's plenty. Anyways.
Do we know who they are? Like, I just left. I just left.
They're like investigator people. They're like with the loop people. They were like private security or something.
So they're not cops.
So they weren't.
They
the
are
feds.
not feds.
Okay. Because we did some crime yesterday. We did a lot of crime. And that was my thought, as I thought maybe they were cops.
No. they're definitely not cops, because if they had actual legal jurisdiction, then my dad probably would have been more chill about it. But he wasn't. He was like, you should show us proof that they did anything. And they did talk about there being video footage, which is probably not great. But they seem kind of like cagey, like they're trying to keep it all for themselves a little bit.
There is a knock at the door. Of the hideout.
I'll give
Grinch starts
everybody a look.
barking.
Oh, yeah, Grinch would absolutely be barking, yeah.
I'll give everybody a look to like start moving towards the door to be the person that is good at first impressions. Talk to people. But unless anybody's like, no, we're gonna pretend like we're not here, then I'm gonna go.
Jeremy,
Milton,
Jeremy
look over
sees-
at the... Oh, yep, go.
Jeremy sees April like heading towards the door, gives her the nod, but then like moves to one of the windows that's kind of like half painted, really dusty, to like twitch away the curtains and see if he can see who's...
Looks like it's Watcher.
It's Watcher, it's fine. We're probably...
Cool.
I mean...
Yeah, you open the door?
I will make a point of opening the door, because also if it static shocks people, I don't want Watcher to be... He's a robot, baby! I don't know if that's bad for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You open the door and he's standing there and he's like, oh, cool, it is you. Oh, great. Harmony said that I could find you here.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, great. Is everybody here?
Yes.
I mean,
Cool.
I think so. Come
Great.
on in.
No, here's the thing. I am gonna need you four to come with me. Harmony said to come and get you. That is important.
well,
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
where are we going?
To my lab. House? Lab.
You're gonna love it, Milton. It's just your kind of place.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Great.
Is Harmony at your lab? I have
Yeah.
a couple questions. Cool.
Yep, she's there. Yeah.
Let's go.
Cool. Right on. You get into. You go back to the busted up Bedford van. The door is still mounted. But you climb in with your bikes and with Grinch this time. And after a while, you drive to the industrial address and head on in. And Milton, you are in like tech, like heaven. There are large panels and instruments. There are gauges flying everywhere. There's things hissing and making noise. It's like Willy Wonka's factory, but it's all like tech and robotics.
There are things, amazing.
Milton, there are things you didn't even think could be possible in terms of design and construction.
This is choice.
You arrive and there is a series of panels that light up and you hear Harmony's voice. And she says, "Good morning."
Hello. Hi, Harmony.
There are some things that you all need to know. I have discovered certain things. And you see Watcher is like, yeah, follow me. And he leads you past some of the hardware to there's another large door, and there is a warning sign basically that just says authorized personnel, medical equipment, use caution. And he turns to you and says, "Look, I woke up like this. I'm not a robot. But I'm also not a human. And there are some things I know how to do things. I'm not sure how I know how to do them. It's like someone gave me instructions. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna see something real weird, and just keep an open mind. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. You see him. He's like, he opens the door and leads you into a almost you're on like a mezzanine floor, like a viewing platform, and you can see down. You see a looks like a hospital surgery, and there is a table in the middle, and on the table you can see a person, although it's not a person. It is you see a woman's head, face, blonde hair, and it looks like a robotic body is being built by a series of small arms and armatures, kind of, and there are, looking around you can see screens that have data on it. Some of it is vital data in terms of, you can see what looks like an ECG. You can see various panels lit up that have images of like a brain and images of a human skeleton. There are readouts of, like you pick an anatomy biology textbook, and there are some, a lot of things you recognize from school. And it's weird to look down and see a person kind of being 3D printed. And you see now Watcher has taken his coat off, his overcoat, and you see that he is 80% mechanical. He has like a human head that looks like a roguishly handsome Snake Plissken. And a piece, like it looks like the top part of his torso is skin, and he has human arms, but then the lower part of his chest and his hips and his legs are robotic. In a very kind of, almost iRobot, very humanoid shape. And he basically turns to the group of you. He's like, "Yep. Yeah.
Oh my.
Is this what it looks like? Because it looks like there's a person being fabricated.
Is that Harmony?
You see the eyes flick open on the woman, and she looks up. Hello. It is me.
Hey.
You see, like the arm that's been kind of completed reaches up and like does Jack's awkward wave.
Oh.
Jack returns the awkward wave.
Yeah, right on. Watcher like looks over the railing and says, "I don't know how to do this, but for some reason I know how to do this. So I programmed it to build a body for Harmony." This isn't the weird part. There is.
Jeremy just looks horrified, like deeply horrified.
Oh yeah, this
isn't the weird part. You are making robots that look like people. What? How many of them are there? Are they everywhere?
No, it was just me. And now it's going to be Harmony and eventually probably Solver.
Why? Just because you can?
It's not that not because I can, because for some reason I have to, if that makes sense. No, it doesn't make
It's
sense
like
to me.
it's
either.
like you have to go to English class before lunch because the school told you that that's when you have to do English, right?
Yeah,
Like you got told by someone that that's what you got to
It's
do,
like-
so you just kind of follow it.
it's like you see me, he's like, Harmony, help me out here. And you hear Harmony's voice, and she says, it is closer to a biological impulse. When you wake in the morning, you must go to the bathroom.
Oh.
Someone has given a Watcher a body and given him a directive to create more. Someone wants to separate all of the pieces of the Guardian to turn them into individuals. The
But-
original plan, and you see the screens that had the vital data now switch, and you can see different kinds of plans. Somebody has planned to create the pieces of the Guardian as something that they can manipulate and control. Someone is trying to create a series of people under their command.
How many pieces are there in the Guardian?
There are 7.
Oh.
When you say
Only three were separated. The other 4 are still part of the Guardian.
when you say someone has programmed this directive, do you know who it is? Is there any sort of
Who-
metadata or anything that might give us some insight?
She brings up a list. There was a team of scientists charged with this project.
Ooh, and she
you
showed.
see a list come up with some names. One name you recognize, Milton.
Yeah, I was just about to ask.
Yes, as
Is-
Dr. Keith Thompson.
Mr. Thompson. That's the guy. That's the guy that I saw talking with Professor Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Thompson.
Milton, you also notice that this project was abandoned by the loop kind of hierarchy. This was abandoned by the higher ups in the loop about 5 years ago.
We're in a
So-
warehouse, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
And from my understanding, it's not attached to the loop facility.
Yeah, with your understanding, yeah.
Harmony-
You remember the symbol on the door wasn't the
Hmm,
loop, the official
Correct.
loop symbol?
Yeah.
cool. Harmony, who owns this warehouse?
This is an undisclosed owner.
Is there a company it goes back to?
She flashes up a list of, it's a number of companies have taken new ownership every year.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So by fabricating these units for each of you to inhabit, it further separates the Guardian from itself. And we want to bring the Guardian back together. Right?
Yes. I have been in discussion with Watcher and Solver, and Solver has surmised the following. And there is, Solver, you realize, doesn't have a voice. So Solver hasn't synthesized a human voice. and you hear a lot of essentially Solver is like R2D2. There's lots of bips and clicks and things, and what gets spat out on a text file is Solver basically says, we are separate. We must head back to the mountain, to the Guardian, where we can reintegrate.
Mm-hmm.
And there is another file that comes up where Harmony basically says, the Loop facility has contracted a special operative investigative unit to apprehend us. They may try to stop us from getting back into the mountains to find the Watcher.
Why?
To find the Guardian, sorry, not the Watcher, the Guardian.
Why would the Loop want to stop you from reintegrating?
I am not sure. We believe that we were originally a Loop experiment.
A slight side tangent.
Hmm.
I want to roll an empathize check on Jeremy. That was a really big reaction that I don't think I understand. And I'm trying to work out if he's just like actually spooked or if there is like something else that he hasn't mentioned to us.
Yeah, you can absolutely try and roll.
Hold on a second. Man, we're best buds. That's 3 successes.
So in terms of so I'll read the extra bonuses for both you and Josh, so you know. With empathize, it's the ability to study what makes a person or conscious whatever find tick. The bonuses are like, what is their weak spot? How can I make them do something? What do they feel? What do they want? What will they do? Are they lying? So it's very much that kind of insight vibe. So it's up. This is up to you, Josh. Like in terms of,
Yeah, cool. So, like as far as you can tell, April, Jeremy's like reaction is coming from a place of very like bone deep horror and revulsion. Like, I mean, you guys all know that Jeremy is not a fan of robots, but
yeah,
as long as I don't have to interact with them too much, I accept their existence in the world. I don't have to like them, but I accept that they exist. But that idea that I wouldn't be able to tell robots from people, that like that terror like is definitely like the where a lot of that horror is coming from. But I figure you've got the bonuses, so like what else would you like to dig into?
I guess April is wondering whether that particular reaction is fueled by like because I think that to me that reaction to seeing the stuff like this happening is bigger than it has been like when we first met Harmony and you were like, I don't really like her, I don't really like robots in general, I don't really like the Watcher in general. And so is it she's trying to work out whether Jeremy is spooked because of what we just got up to yesterday, or whether there is something else going on that she needs to factor into however we're going to go about whatever we're going to go about.
Yeah, I think like there's certainly like a degree of like there's more to it than just this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that it's that uncanny valley reaction thing is sort of the heart of what's going on. But it's sort of like the impression that you get is more. Yeah, there's nothing in your recollection of Jeremy of like the time that you guys have known Jeremy that would suggest that this is like the right level of reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Like this seems really like on the basis of all of the interactions you've seen Jeremy have with robots, this is odd. Like this is too far. But it doesn't like it doesn't suggest that there is a degree of what's the word I'm looking for? Accommodation. That doesn't suggest that there's a need for more accommodation to move forward in this.
Sure.
Because you can see that Jeremy's trying to like regulate himself and like get used to this new normal.
Cool.
But it is clearly discomforting for him.
Okay. I think April's just gonna discreetly stand so that she's kind of backing up Jeremy a bit, like just like a little bit closer, so it feels like a little bit more of a squad. And then also be like, speaking to Harmony, be like, do you remember what parts of you aren't broken off? Like what the other 4 are?
The others are simply the Guardian. We did not gain designations until we were separated. We simply, once we were made aware that we were a part, we became aware of the number of parts that make the whole.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to spook people out, but if I'm thinking about, like, the people, like, if you take my dad, he's also got a job that's about, like, protecting people, right? And part of that is talking to people and finding stuff out and finding solutions to problems. But another part of protecting people is, like, maybe not as nice. And I mean, I'm wondering if they wanted the not nice parts to stick around and get rid of the other parts that are nicer. Pointing at Watcher and Harmony. So they could use it for their own stuff.
You see, Watcher looks at you and says, look, I don't know what we're supposed to do. Well, I kind of have an idea, but I think whoever made us, me, whatever separated us, didn't have very nice plans for what they wanted. I remember whoever woke me up tried to tell me to get the things at whatever the cost, and even if that involved hurting people. And something about that last part I didn't like, so I left. I ran away and found my way here. I don't think the concept of going somewhere to specifically cause pain and harm is not, that doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. There's something inherently different about that idea. I don't seem to be able to understand it. It's Harmony said it feels like something that is it's almost like a human idea that I can't really get my head around.
That
That's
just
you're
means
really nice.
Yeah, that means you're good.
I think we were always intended to be. That's why we're the guardian of Silver Peak, and we're not the tyrant of Silver Peak.
And so if we're able to reunite all of these pieces, then things can go back to the way they were.
Hopefully.
And in order to do that, we have to go to Silver Peak with you and Harmony and Solver. And he pulls out the floppy disk.
Oh, yeah. Great. And you see, like, you place the disc in, and Solver gets essentially integrated into the system fully.
How long is Harmony's body going to take to finish? And are you going to make one for Solver as well?
That seems to be the plan. Yeah. That's the thing. The bodies aren't built from nothing. If that makes sense. And then you see him. He's like, this is the weird thing I was going to tell you about. And he like brings up on one of the computers. You see images, like headshots of people.
No.
Milton, you see a picture of Christopher Walker. And you all start to realize that these are people who went missing last year at the Winter Festival. And you see a picture of the woman who's down on the floor.
Yeah.
And you see a picture of Watcher. And you notice that Watcher was listed as someone named Darren, who worked for the loot facility, and he works in the same department as your dad. The woman was you see her file she is a very influential tech investor from companies that deal with like what essentially is like satellite technology in terms of long-range communications around the globe. There are a few people who have been listed that you don't recognize, but Watcher turns to you and says, these people are, well, they went missing, but they were kidnapped, and their bodies are being stored in storage to then use to create
we can't let that happen. We don't need.
They're dead?
As doornails.
Oh no, my dad's gonna hate that. Okay. That is difficult.
There is one other face on the file that's not listed as missing, but is in that group. And you see the title is simply just Subject 00. And it is, Milton, it is one of the agents that was outside the front of your house. And the file simply says Subject 00 Preliminary Field Test Model.
You guys, he's gonna open that file. This
Huh?
this person was at my house this morning. This thing was at my house this morning talking to my parents. This thing, this whatever this is, this is not right. We need to stop this. Watcher, this isn't just because someone told you or programmed you to do this doesn't mean that you have to. We can stop this, can't we, Jeremy?
We can
Look.
try.
Yeah, look, and you see, he crouches down to you, Milton. He's like, Milton, someone wanted to create us and all of this, and someone wanted us to do dangerous things. I don't want to do that. Harmony does not want to do that.
Then we have
Solver
to stop it.
does not want to do that. Yes.
We have to stop it, right, guys?
Yeah. Solver being a computer program in a computer is helpful to a point, but I've found having this body gives me capability to be able to make my own choices and affect my own life. So the reason I'm building the same for Harmony and for Solver means that we don't have to be so reliant on you kids carrying us around in your backpacks. You know what I mean?
How long are they going to take to finish? How long do we need to hold
Harmony-
it off before we can take you back to the mountain?
Harmony will be done in about another 4 hours. If I build a body for Solver, that's going to be 6. So 10 hours all up.
So the end of the
We can
day.
wait 10 hours. We've got 10 hours, right?
Wait a minute. Are the bodies of those people here?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a storage facility attached to this one.
How are we going to put you back in the Guardian if you're in a body?
Harmony's capabilities would allow us to reintegrate. We just need to get ourselves there within its proximity. Even in the body I'm making her now, she can still interface with devices that she's near. I'm just giving her a way to be more mobile in this world.
Could we have a minute, Mr. Watcher?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. And he starts to go down some stairs towards the table, and you see that he moves over to where Harmony's body is being made, and he stands beside her and holds her hand, and it looks like they're looking at each other having a quiet conversation.
You guys, this isn't right. Nothing about this is right. Watcher may have good intentions, but their imperative is to create these bodies for these parts of the Guardian, and I don't know if I trust Watcher anymore.
Watcher
Why?
says he wants to get them back to the mountain. I say we get them back to the mountain. We can deal with this place. We can call April's dad. We can do a lot of things, but until Watcher and Harmony, Solver are gone, back to the mountain, back to where they came from, we can't change anything. We're stuck in whatever this mess is. The only real change starts happening when they go.
I think Watcher would say anything to continue the programming if that's what it takes to tell us something that we want to hear, so that Watcher can actualize these bodies. We have Harmony in April's Walkman. We have Solver in this floppy disk, and we have Watcher already. Like, I'm afraid, you guys. If they're separated and they're put into these individual forms, we may not ever be able to get them back together.
I mean, I can understand being scared, but I don't think Watcher's lying. I mean, I think he's just as confused as any of them were. I don't know that. I feel like if you're gonna trust one of them, you might as well trust all of them. And I trust Harmony. And I think I trust Watcher. I think he's just. I mean, he hasn't been around that long. He doesn't have a lot of other options. It's creepy, 100%, but, you know, I kind of feel bad for him.
Silver Peak's not that far away. I feel like Watcher's not going to leave the facility while Harmony and Solver are being put into bodies built from
Dead people.
I mean, that we could head up the mountain, find the Guardian, see what they think. I don't know, Milton, you know more about this than I would, but we could hack into a Watcher and remove the imperative. I'm not sure. I agree. We have all of the components. Solver and Harmony don't need bodies for the original goal.
There is a
Jack,
sound
if
that
we
comes
get in
over
the way,
the speakers. Go, Josh.
Jack, if we get in their way, we have no influence on the outcome. If we get in their way, who's to say what happens to us? Right now, they're our friends, but if we interrupt that imperative, if they decide that somehow we aren't friendly, then we lose our ability to keep track of them. And if they're going back to the Guardian with these bodies or without them, then at least we know where the bodies are. We can still tell the sheriff about them. We can still have useful, accurate information, and we can still get more. I know that this is weird and uncomfortable, but if they're already dead, there's no bringing them back.
I guess maybe we end up with 4 Guardians on Silver Peak.
Or maybe their consciousness gets downloaded, right? Removed from these bodies that they've built for themselves. Who knows? Who's to say? I certainly don't know, but if we run now, we stop being able to keep an eye on them. We lose track of them, and that's scarier to me than anything else that's going on right now.
Jack glances at the devices in the room, and then says, I guess too, the real bad guys are the ones who started this. You know, the Silver Peak Guardian didn't ask for this, and they didn't. You know, they probably weren't around at the last festival. Maybe we need to keep our eyes on the ball.
While you're having this conversation, there is a sound that comes over the speaker system, which kind of sounds like a klaxon. It's just like a whamp, whamp, whamp. And you see Watcher look up and let go of Harmony and rush past you. And he's like, brings up a video feed of the front of the facility. And you can see it's looking down at the door, so you can't see their face, but there is a gentleman in looks like a coat, is at the door, and it looks like he's got a swipe card, and he swipes it, and the door goes blam blam. You see him like swipes it again, blam blam, and he looks around, and as he looks, you catch a glimpse of Mr. Thompson looking at his, and you see like Watcher stops and looks and turns to the group of you, and he's like, that's him. That's him. When I woke up, he was looking at me. How the hell did he find this place?
That's Mr. Thompson.
That's the real bad guy.
You see him, he's like, oh, okay. And he like rushes out, and he's like, I don't know what you're gonna do, but hide. I'll try and stop him. And runs out, like shuts the door behind him, and heads out. And you're not sure where he goes. Harmony's voice pipes up on the sound system, and she basically says, something is happening. We must find a way to hide. And you can see the lights kind of dim in the facility, and there is a door that Watcher pointed out for the storage facility, and you see it as looks like smoke or steam billows out, and a light flicks on, and Harmony says, in here. And that was where we're going to end, because it's 2:10.
Oh no!
Oh my gosh!
With you four stuck in a weird laboratory.
Oh my god!
Oh my
goodness.
Fridge.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, what a cliffhanger to end on. Holy Toledo.
Oh my goodness.
All right, well, there we go, folks. That's Tales from the Loop. That's what you get when you stop by here for some loopy. We're getting loopy.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, thank you very much, Allan, for taking us down that road. Wow. You guys, what a great game. We're going to be back next week to find out what happens next. I'm so excited. I'm going to be theorizing all week. What the hell's going on here? We got a lot of information tonight.
Oh yeah.
We got a lot of information to think about.
Now what the heck do we do with it?
Yeah, exactly. Now, will we make a good decision? That's the question. Will we make good decisions? Yeah. April's mom would hope that we do. Well, I guess we'll find out if that happens or not. There are strange men afoot.
Yeah, April's mom would be like, make good choices, make good choices.
Yeah,
reasonably sure no one's ending up pregnant from these robots.
Well, we don't know yet. We don't know what's going on. We don't know.
Yeah, this is a different kind of people making, isn't it?
That is for sure. That was creepy and really cool. You guys, thank you very much. Thanks to everyone who's been hanging out with us in the chat. This is Finders Keepers, Tales from the Loop story. These are beautiful people who I'm going to have introduce themselves again really quick because you need to know them. And thank you all for contributing to our fundraiser. I'm going to say a little bit more about that in a second, but let's jump over. And Allan, why don't you start, please? Tell us who you are, and anything else you want to say, please go right ahead.
Right on. Oh my gosh, what a great game. I am Allan Henry. This was a whole lot of fun. You can find me on socials at AllanHenry_official. If you are in Grand Rapids, Michigan in a couple of weeks, I'll be at the Grand Rapids Comic Con. So if you're there, come on in and say hi. Also, next week's game will be on the 10th of November here in New Zealand, which is my birthday. So it'll be a birthday game.
Hey! Oh, fantastic.
And yeah, this is the most jam-packed Sunday for me because I've just finished this game and it's brilliant. And then at 4 p.m. today, I've got an interview with my lovely friend Taffeta Darling on her 24-hour fundraising stream for Extra Life. And
Nice.
then after that, I'm going to run a Kids on Bikes game
Oh my
for a
God.
good friend's birthday. So today is just turning out to be the funnest day ever. It's so good. But that's me. I'm a very, very weird person and I love it. Cool. I'm going to throw it to Josh.
Hey, I'm Josh. I've been playing Jeremy today. It's been existentially terrifying considering the possibility of robots that look like people but act like robots. I'm really looking forward to seeing where we go. I do not have more games lined up today because sometimes that's just how it do be. But it's been a fabulous one. I hope that the fundraising for World Central Kitchen continues well. We really appreciate everything that you guys have chucked in the pot for it so far, and hopefully you guys stick around and keep that train rolling. Guys, thanks for a fabulous day, and we'll see you next week for the next one. I'll chuck it over to Emily.
Right on.
I'm Emily. I was playing Jack today. Once again, reiterating what everyone said. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for donating, fundraising, sharing the links for the fundraising effort that's currently going on. I, like Josh, do not have any more games today. And at some point, I will find my Blue Sky login, and I will pass over my Blue Sky handle. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will throw to Ruby.
Hey. Hello, I'm Ruby and/or April today. Interchangeable. Same. This game is super fun to play. I'm super excited to see where we're going, and thank you so much for donating for World Central Kitchen fundraiser so far. Keep the good vibes going for the rest of the fundraiser because it's always lovely to be able to make a cool story and also help do some good with it. You can find me on Twitch and Instagram at This Is Ruby OK, doing various other RPG things. I may or may not be streaming later this evening. We'll see. But yeah, what you will definitely see is back here next week, same time, same place, for more of this wonderful story. Back to you, Dave.
Thank you so much, you guys. Again, this is just a joy. I feel so privileged and lucky to be playing in this game with you and having these connections be made across oceans and continents and all this, geographic space. We get to come together to create some stories, and it's really fucking special. So thank you. Thanks to everyone who's been hanging out with us. As I said, we are continuing with our fundraising efforts here for World Central Kitchen, and we've got a bunch of stuff coming up that I want to make sure that you're aware of. We had a full day today with two streams fundraising. We have a special finale to our Outlaws of Greyhawk happening on Tuesday night. Please stop by for that. It's going to be epic. I'm very excited. And then on Thursday this coming week, we have a special Pirate Borg one-shot. Allan will be making an appearance along with a bunch of other very special people. I can't wait for that. And then we'll be back here on next Saturday for more Tales from the Whisperwood and Tales from the Loop. So a lot going on, a lot of opportunities to get involved with the fundraising, and we really appreciate you all for just being part of this. So thank you very much, and we will catch you on the flip side. Take it easy.